Welcome to another video request with yours truly. So tonight is an anonymous requester who says, "Yo, Thranduil, what's it like dealing with your son's marriage? I want the behind-the-scenes exclusive." Says the person who won't tell me who they are. But you want to know everything about me. Well, I'm going to tell you, darling, no worries. So, the marriage, well, of course, I can't change anything. It's already been done. Technically, this is just the ceremony that we're planning right now. Anyhow, let's talk about the reasons why I am against this marriage. And I would like to say it's not that I have anything personal against this Gimli son of Gloin. I haven't even met the man yet, so he could be perfectly lovely. I don't even know yet, but we'll find out about that soon enough, won't we? I'm not saying my son has made bad decisions in his life. Usually he's quite good and I trust him in most matters, but this is far too important to just trust to some on-the-spot feelings, especially ones that are made under duress, such as violence and fear of death. Of course things are going to be more intense then, and he is already prone to being passionate about absolutely anything that he cares about. So, the reasons why I'm against this. Well, let's, of course, go into the debate about mortals. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with mortals. Of course, mortals marrying mortals makes perfect sense. But mortals marrying immortals, well, there's a few snags in that now, isn't there, darling? Like the inevitable fact that one of you is going to die. Now, of course, we elves can die. That's not something we're unable to do, and that only makes it worse because for those of you who maybe don't know about how elves deal with the loss of their lovers, it's not unusual for some of us, when the pain is too great, to lay down and let our fae, which is our life force, leave our body. Because it's too painful to keep on living, we just sort of let ourselves fade back into nature. Which sounds beautiful, but it means you're dead. So that's never good. And of course, I'm also upset about not being able to have grandchildren. Now, of course, I made it very clear that I'm upset about not having any heirs, since Legolas is, of course, my only son, and being that my dear wife is no longer with us, and that Legolas is my only child and will be the only one that I have or will ever have, it means that I will never see the bright smiling face of a little elfling I can call my grandson or granddaughter. Which, of course, is a dream of mine, but dreams don't always live up to expectation. That's why they're called dreams, isn't it? Now, perhaps I sound a little bit bitter, darlings, and I suppose that I am. After all, I had dreams of a happy family for many years with lots of little elflings running about, and my amazing storm of a woman that I married being at my side for always, and that didn't happen. So, being that I know the pain of losing loved ones, first, of course, both of my parents have ceased to be, and then, of course, my wife. I know that Legolas, prone to his passions, is the type who would lay down and let his fae return to nature, shall we say. And I'm having a little bit of a problem dealing with the fact that A, it's almost inevitable that that will happen, and B, that it's going to happen very soon. Not in the lifespan of mortals, of course, quite long, I suppose, for them, but dwarves don't tend to live very long, which means that if my son does give up his life, I don't have much longer with him. Of course, I want him to be happy. And I can't deny him now that he's married this Gimli, son of Gloin, and I have no doubt if I tried to do anything to stop it, that he would do something rash and foolish. That's the sort of passionate child that he's always been, and he gets that 100% from his mother, which is part of why my own father did not approve of our marriage, that and the fact that she was a sylvan elf. But of course most of the elves in our kingdom are, and he was quite pleased once he got to know her, and perhaps once I get to know this Gimli, son of Gloin, things will change, although it's very hard to imagine that happening, since I know he's the cause of my son's inevitable pain and suffering. But I will try my best to look at this more objectively and to see him for who he is. I'm going to try. Don't really want to talk too much about my wife because this is already getting more emotional than I want. Perhaps, darlings, we'll talk about that later. Perhaps, I can't make any promises at this point. It's only been about 1700, 1800 years now. So, no, it's been longer, hasn't it? Anyhow, I don't want to think about that right now. It's still far too soon for me to start going into that. So, to recap, mostly I'm against this marriage because, of course, the inevitable pain and suffering that my son will have no matter what happens, and also that I'm hurt about the fact that I won't have grandchildren, and I'll have to watch everyone in my family die in my lifetime. That's lovely. And just the fact of the matter is that there is still some strain even after having given aid to Erebor. Of course, we have good repertoire, Dane and myself, but there's still strain. I think that's sort of natural, given elves and dwarves' history and just who we are and what we are. And I'm trying very hard to move past this, but well, I can't even seem to look at my own image in this camera because it's just very upsetting right now, darlings, and I can't stand the sight of my own face when I think about it, that maybe this is my fault all along, and perhaps it's just the emotions that I'm just getting caught up in. But there was an incident a while ago that may or may not, I'm not confirming anything, darlings, but there may have been an incident between myself and a mortal, which of course nothing came of it, and I've moved past that in my life, but it's painful just to bring up and to think that my son has gotten married in a situation like that and all that's going to happen. I just can't stand the thought of him in pain at all. And I just want what is best for him. It's all I've ever wanted, ever since he was just a wee little seedling, you know. I used to hold him in my arms and I would tell him all the great things I knew he would do one day, and honestly, he has done most of them already, and he's still so young. You know, he's not even 2 millennia old, and look at what he's done. He's gone and saved Middle-earth with a band of 9, well, less than 9 now, but mostly he worked with just 3 of them, and they've raised armies and fought off darkness, and it's just, he's done so much, and I want so much more for him, and I know this will be the end of him. Even if he's happy now, I just don't want to lose him. So, trying to move past the fact that it's my fault that I will watch this come to pass. And I'm trying to be supportive because, of course, I do love him and I want him to be happy as long as he can because I can't even stop this now. So, I'm going to go and open up another bottle of wine. And I hope you've enjoyed this exclusive, much more emotional than I had wanted it to be. But thank you again for the request. And please send me more. And yes, so thank you all. I love you all. And I'll see you next time. Farewell.